Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be making the legendary charm priority tier list sorted by the different classes. This is important because legendary charms are going to be a big power upgrade for your different PvE content, Dream Realm, Primal Lord, and even AFK stages. So we're going to go ahead and begin as always with the charm merchant acquirable heroes. Any hero which was released in this season, pick up their charms from the charm merchant as soon as you log in after the reset. To make sure that you don't craft them by mistake later on. So Gwyneth, of course, very important in Dream Realm right now. Sylphira, really good for AFK stages and some Dream Realm usage. And then we have Lamentis, who is good for, guild boss, for some Dream Realm content. Very important. Peggy as well, Dream Realm content. And then Orion and Kazim, not really going to be used as much for PvE content, but because you can get them from the Charm Merchant, you should pick up their charms. And that is going to be that for the Charm Merchant. So let's go ahead and lead it off with the support heroes. There are the most support heroes that you want to get charms for. And there are a lot of big priorities here. So Contest definitely is one of the top heroes. And as we're moving now into endless difficulty of Dream Realm, you're going to be seeing Contest used even more. And in fact, her stats are going to matter even more because she's gonna provide some meaningful amount of HP loss damage herself as well. That's what you're gonna notice moving into endless. So Contest Charms definitely a big priority. Twins as well, because of their widespread usage across almost every Dream Realm boss. You will want to pick up their charms when you can. Valarans to these, both of them have AFK stage and Dream Realm usage. Dream Realm is not always the most usage from these two heroes, but occasionally they will be. AFK stages, they're very, very used. Their charm upgrades are going to be really important because that increases the buff value they provide to your team, the attack buff, because they're going to have higher attack by getting those upgraded charms. So those are going to be big priorities. Eevee, a big priority. She's having decent overall Dream Realm usage, especially in the Lady Starfallen Dream Realm boss. However, Peggy has kind of actually made Eevee less important there, but Eevee still is solid. Definitely a hero you want to be picking the charms up for. Rainier, he's still good and he will continue to be good, but he's going to become weaker and weaker as we move deeper into Endless, but he still is a priority to get charms for. Pandora, she's going to become better now that we're in Endless. She's going to deal actually meaningful damage herself. We already saw a top team with Pandora already for Dream Realm, and I expect to see potentially a bit more of that. So Pandora with their charms are important. Hugin, we don't see the most usage of in Dream Realm, honestly, but the guild boss team with Gwyneth, and even there's going to be a budget team for Primal Lord using Gwyneth, basically Peggy, Lightbearer comp with Hugin. And so Hugin's going to have overall good usage, so definitely get the Hugin charms. Mikola, we saw her in the top team that Frosty shared, and that was pretty interesting. So getting the Mikola charms, yes, is going to be important for those niche cases. Smokey, Smokey doesn't have necessarily the most usage. There's a budget comp in Lady Starfallen using him, but he is going to potentially have a bit more usage now that we're moving into Endless because he has HP loss damage, so definitely Smokey charms will be big. Coco and Rowan. Coco for, Lady Starfallen budget teams basically, and potentially any other content, I don't know where else you would actually use Coco right now, but basically Titan Reaver, potentially the melee attack damage boosting that she gets from the charms, and that's kind of a similar reason I put Rowan here. Rowan increases melee damage of the hero in front of him. That could have some Titan Reaver usage, or just to get the Lightbearer Phantomal, and it also has Rowan is using AFK stages with the Lightbearer team. Sometimes, so that's why these heroes are important. And then Damien just kind of like that budget option for Lady Starfallen or for like Doom Scourge. If you're lacking other heroes, you may need to use Damien, and that's why he's right at the end here. But if you're not using him at all, you don't need to really bother with his charms. Okay, now the Warrior, we have Baleram right up front, because if you have Baleram built, he's going to be in the top team for the Primal Lord, or one of the top team options for Primal Lord. And that is why I put him right at the front, because we're not going to have that much time left of Primal Lord. So prioritizing his charms are going to be important. I'm personally going to get Baleram's charms first for that reason. Apart from Primal Lord though, I don't know how much usage he's going to have. We're going to have to wait and see for Dream Realm usage and even AFK stages. Himmel is obviously used a lot in AFK stages, and he's only going to get better into Endless because he has that debuff which causes the boss to take increased HP loss damage from your whole team. He's synergized with Free Reign, who also is going to be a menace in Endless, so definitely Himmel charms are really important And if it wasn't for the Primal Lord, I would put him even before Baleman. And then you have some other random warriors here. Kruger Corden going to have some niche usage in Dream Realm. Getting their charms will slightly increase their damage output and their score, and that's why that will be important. Valka right now hasn't really seen much usage at all. Sonya as well, not really seeing much usage, but like in really budget teams or even the guild, like, you know, guild boss, really free-to-play team, you can use things like Sonya. So these are solid heroes, but just probably not good enough for the meta. But either way, if you're going to ever use them, you can get their charms. And Zandrok for AFK stages if you ever use them, although personally I don't really use Zandrok because I have a Celestial Hypogean team, but if anyone does, then he's over here. Okay, moving on to the tanks, we have Gunner number 1. Gunner, he's still doing well, and in fact he was in the top team here today for even endless difficulty, which is actually pretty unexpected to me. So Gunner, very solid hero, worth running, and definitely worth getting the charms for both Dream Realm and also AFK stages. And actually, there is going to be one Primal Lord team involving Gunner and Gwyneth, and in fact, that was the reported top scoring team when you get to maximum resonating level with red charms from the VN server. So I would predict that Gunner, Gwyneth, Contest, I believe, is going to be the top team most likely for the Primal Lord. And in which case, you know, you can just opt for that team rather than the Baleman team. But both are kind of like top tier, so we'll have to see which one's better. Then we have Alna for AFK stages. Not going to mention much more than that. Theodore for AFK stages, very useful. And Stellar Ascent and things like that. Even some Dream Realm, he actually has usage with Fury and Himmel combo. For Esther, I put here only because, you know, Titan Reaver is going to be coming up. It will be an endless difficulty Titan Reaver. Potentially Frestor is going to be used, in which case getting his charms will be important. Demon, solid hero, but just again, kind of like not really good enough to make into meta teams. Kind of like the Valka and Sonya. You know, but he may have some niche usage. And then you have Thorin for King Croaker boss, but getting his charms isn't going to change much because he's not a damage contributor. And then finally, Callan, just for, I don't know why I put Callan here. Honestly, not for that much PvE content. I don't know if anyone uses Callan in AFK stages at all. Dream Realm, you're not going to use them, but I don't know, things like Stellar Ascent and various other random game modes, so that's why I have Callan here. Okay, moving on to the Mage. Mages are really important. Most importantly, we have Frieren. Frieren is going to be the most important mage to get charms on. Very close to Galahad, honestly. Both are major priorities, but the reason I say Frieren is because she has great HP loss damage and she has great raw true damage. And so we're in the early endless stage of Dream Realm, and that is a perfect time to be bringing out a combo of true damage and HP loss damage. Just not raw HP loss damage like something like Galahad. Having that combo is going to be beneficial, and that's why Frieren is still probably going to be the top damage dealer for phase 2 of Dream Realm. But Galahad will shortly follow her. Galahad is going to be very important. Phase 2 is when Galahad comes online with all the endless, entering endless Dream Realm. You're going to see Galahad in almost every Dream Realm boss team from now on. So getting her charms is going to be very important. Both Frieren and Galahad, major priorities. Aurora's charms are going to be important for like the Doom Scourge or any other summoning related boss you're using. Especially if you have Lamentis, then like Aurora is going to be really important to pair up with him. So Aurora charms. Mihira for AFK stages, not much more to say there. Not probably going to have much Dream Realm usage. Siren for AFK stages, that is it. Shmira for really returning players, free-to-play players who've missed out on Frieren, Gwyneth, other major damage dealers. Potentially you will be using Shmira in Dream Realm or something, but she's not a great option. However, for the guild duel boss team, at the end of each week when you're attacking the boss, there is a really strong Shmira team for that, and so getting her charms for that at least is going to be a priority. And then we have Cassidy finally. I don't think we're going to see much use of Cassidy, and when Cassidy is used, she's almost used alongside Sylvan. And really recently, Lady Sir Fallen has kind of been the only boss that they're used in, and they're not even in the overall top team, I believe. Or maybe they are. And Titan Reaver is coming around as well, so that's why I have them here. But because we're in Endless, they're going to be fading away a little bit right now. Okay, Marksman. We have Alicent up front because it's a bit of a prediction that now that we're in Endless, Phase 2, this is where Alicent in the previous season was her strongest. She was the best in Phase 2 of Endless difficulty, and she was in almost, like, I think 7 out of 8 of Dream On Ball's top teams. Now, this season will be nothing like that because we have Frieren as well. We have Contest. We have a lot more heroes to work with. And so, probably Alicent is not going to be nearly as meta. Now, the question is, how much usage will Alicent have? Will she actually be in some top teams? And I think she definitely will, but just not as crazy as before. So, yeah, Alicent charms will be important if you have her built. Sylvan for AFK stages, mainly why I put him here. But if you do have that, usage in some bosses with Cassidy, then that will be important too. Zany, I use in some bosses, especially King Croaker, to take the frog's insta kills. That's actually a pretty useful technique that she can do. So Zany, yeah, getting her charms would be important. Kulu for AFK stages, not much more to say about that. Leica for if you're using her in Doom Scourge or something, some people are revolving around Leica teams as a top team option, and that's why getting her charms would be important. Nazric, again, we are approaching endless difficulty of Dream Realm, which means Nazric is not going to be as good as before. He could have some very niche usage, maybe Titan Reaver, and that's why I put him here right at the end. And then Bonnie right at the end. Bonnie is only in really free-to-play budget team options right now. She's not good enough for Dream Realm, nor is she good enough for AFK stages, but if you have no better options, you can somehow make her work. And also, maybe Titan Reaver will have some usage of her. I'm not sure. Probably not very likely. Okay, finally, we have the final class, which is the Rogues. So the Rogue number 1 is going to be Saida, because she is the queen of AFK stages. If you have Saida built, you definitely want to rush her charms to push hard in AFK stages. That is important. Pheromore is really good for, he can be good in AFK stages. He can be decent for some Dream Realm content. Overall, pretty solid hero, but lately in Dream Realm we haven't really been seeing that many Pheromore teams, but he still is a solid rogue to get your charms crafted on if you use him at all. Ravion, really good for, he's mainly focused on PvP definitely, but occasionally he will have some usage in the other game modes like Dream Realm or AFK stages, but not the most. He's very niche in that regard. I still put him here though, because I just think he's a solid hero to be getting your charms for, but if you're not using him, you don't need to rush them. Shadewing, really only for budget teams, free-to-play friendly teams for different Dream On bosses, and he's good for that. However, he's not as good as the meta options like Freerun and Gwyneth revolving around teams. So that is basically the thing. But if you need to use him, you should get his charms. And then finally, Iron for AFK stages. Not much more to say there. Everyone knows Iron is only an AFK stage hero. And getting his charms won't change that much. But eventually, when you have no other priorities, you can get them crafted. Okay, guys. So that is going to be it for all of the charm priority for the legendary charms coming out at the upcoming reset. Or organized by the different classes. Hopefully this is helpful and gives you a good idea of what to plan for at the reset and then in the upcoming days. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you have any other heroes you think I didn't mention and you want to talk about, feel free to share that in the comment section. That is always appreciated. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus Dragon Crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.